For this problem, we're given some information about a rational function and we're working to find the actual equation. So to start with, x-intercepts of 1 and -4. A function has x-intercepts when plugging these values in make the entire function equal to 0. And so with a rational function, that means we would plug these values into the top part of the function, and the top part of the function would be equal to 0. So these would be the two factors that would be on top of our function, because if you plug a 1 in to here, you get 0. And if you plug in the -4 into here, you get 0. So the next piece that I would look at sequentially would then be the vertical asymptotes, because that determines what the factors on the bottom of the rational function will be. So here we have x equals 0 and x equals -5. So we get a vertical asymptote when we plug in values, and it causes the function to be undefined because we're dividing by 0. So for example, if we plug a -5 in here to x plus 5, that makes the whole bottom equal to 0, and we would be dividing by 0, which is undefined, which means we have a vertical asymptote. Similarly, if we plug a 0 in here, it makes this factor here and also the entire bottom equal to 0, which again causes division by 0, which is a vertical asymptote. Now, horizontal asymptotes, we look at the ratio of the leading coefficients on top and bottom. So I'm going to factor out the top and bottom here, or rather I'm unfactoring through here. I'm multiplying out these factors. And you can read in chapter 3 about rational functions exactly how to determine all the different types of asymptotes here. The common one we see is when the top and bottom have the same exact degree, which means the leading exponent is equal on top and bottom. Here it's a 2 on both. So then we just compare the ratio of the leading coefficients, whatever numbers in front of those leading terms. And here it's just a 1 in both of them. So our horizontal asymptote is just 1 over 1, or we would just say y equals 1. So for example, if we had 3 over 2, we'd have a horizontal asymptote at y equals 3 over 2. And so since it's 1, we don't need to add any numbers in here to change our function to match a specific asymptote. For example, like I just mentioned, if this said y equals 3 over 2 here instead of 1, then I would add a 3 on top and a 2 on bottom when creating my function. And the last part here is that y-intercepts, we have none. Well, basically for a y-intercept is when you plug 0 in for every x. What value do you get back? Well, we know when we plug 0 in for x, in this case, it makes the whole function undefined, and we have a vertical asymptote there. So plugging 0 in for x is not going to give us a value back. That's why we have no y-intercept.